Hi friends. Welcome to IPS Learning Institute, helping you to improve the delivery of patient care by solving the mysteries of the business side of healthcare. Today, we are talking about finding that job in 2020. So it's a new year, and I know a lot of you are setting those New Year's resolutions and probably setting an intention that is centered around some professional or career development. So, congratulations for making the decision. So, I want to talk a little bit today about how to get yourself that job in this new year. Maybe last year you spent some time looking for a new position, but this year you are determined to make it happen. So this video is in collaboration with CodeMasterCoach. If you aren't familiar with CodeMasterCoach, I suggest you go over to her channel. She has some items that she's created. We together had a discussion and decided we were going to take our professional knowledge and expertise and experience and then some additional information that she's looked into related to skills and tools to be able to help you folks find that job in this new year. So please go over to her channel and take a look at what she has to say about finding that job in 2020. So first things first, get prepared. So the very first thing that I suggest that you do is spend some time getting yourself ready, for that job. So how would you do that? So the first thing to say is that your resume is everything. It is literally the first opportunity that you have to wow the employer or the potential employer. So if you don't have a lot of healthcare experience or very specific healthcare experience, and you would like to make yourself really give an opportunity to outline the experience that you have that's relevant. So customer service, for example, or on the job training, or things that, job training that you received along with schooling or certification, maybe some volunteer hours or intern hours. There is a way that you can use your resume to communicate and represent yourself well. So understand that it doesn't always entail years and years of experience to make your resume stand out from the rest. So the very first thing that you want to think about is the very basics, the appearance of your resume, right? The way that it looks, the content, and the way that you choose to articulate yourself. So how do you communicate that's a little different than others? How do you communicate your skill set and your value systems and the ways that you choose to work in any kind of environment, whether it's healthcare or otherwise, giving yourself a chance to really highlight these qualities that would be beneficial in any organization. So spend some time and absolutely let someone review your resume. Drives me crazy when I get resumes from folks and there are spelling errors or formatting errors or things that just, things that aren't capitalized, all lowercase, all capital, all kinds of grammatical issues with a resume. If you give somebody your resume, and there's all kinds of professional systems out there, or even groups where people get together to look at resumes. There's books, there's resources online. Please talk to people, get some feedback on your resume, and ask these companies that are devoted to helping you prepare your resume, or these organizations, some of the job training facilities, ask them for tips and tricks and ways on how to make your resume better. I guarantee you, if you Google how to write an awesome resume or how to create a resume that stands out or something along those lines, you will find a wealth of information, maybe even here on YouTube. So do some extra research, make your resume stand out. The next thing I will say to get prepared that will help you get prepared is to practice interviewing. So remember the 4 P's. Practice prevents poor performance. So if you are expecting and hoping for and anticipating an interview, then you should be practicing. If you don't practice or rehearse or do any sort of preparation prior to an interview, then I guarantee you're not really even setting an intention to get that job, my friends. Sometimes this job search process is all about intention, right? You are getting yourself ready. You are putting the energy into that preparation, into the concept um, of of having those wealth of interviews and having those connections and professional relationships that will land you a job. So spending the effort and the time in that preparation stage is, and giving the effort and energy into practicing an interview, is going to not only help you stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, it will also help you to feel confident when you open that door to that new facility or organization, and you look at those faces, no matter how many of them, might be one, it might be four, a panel of folks, you will feel more grounded as you sit there to as you sit through some of the questions that they might ask you, because there's really not a large number of questions as far as the most common ones that folks are asking on interviews. Yes, they might vary, but you are going to, I'd say, get at least 60 to 70% of those questions under your belt. There might be some off the wall. I may even go as far as to say it's 80% of the questions that are just very common. You'll see those frequently, and it's not going to be something that you'll have to worry about of fumbling over words or not sure how to respond to a particular question. And you'll have just a different way about you when you start to when you've had some thought in some of the areas that folks are asking questions. So next, I would say research based on your interest. So if you are interested in a particular specialty or a particular type of organization, right? So yes, specialties are just obviously medical specialties or certain kind of provider specialties. Or if there's organization types, for example, if you like the idea of some possible flexibility of working from home, or you like the idea of having a really great tight-knit work environment, meaning like a smaller group, or you like the idea of being in a larger corporate environment, then you want to make sure that you're doing research around those kinds of companies. So you're finding work environments that are going to be most suitable for you. So don't neglect the chance for you to be able to be in an area where you feel most fulfilled, because where you are most happy in your role and in your job, I guarantee you will be more productive. You'll probably find more professional success, and you'll be able to add more value to the organization as a whole. So next thing that you'll want to do is to create, after you've done this research, you're going to create a list of targets. So remember that not all companies post jobs online, or they take a long time to do that, to post jobs online. So I would start with local organizations and practices. So if you are in a particular area, so Timbuktu. So let's say you're looking for health practices in Timbuktu. You're going to want to Google first. Let's say you've decided you like cardiology. So let's start with cardiologist in Timbuktu. Let's start with group cardiology practices if you like the idea of a larger group practice, or things that then you start looking down the list and reaching out to them. You don't necessarily, if you go to their website, and just keep in mind when I say about job postings online, you might find some organizations that have a page on their website that says employment or job opportunities or something along those lines. Or you might just reach out to a company and you find out that they were just about to list with a recruiting firm, or they had a listing that they've renewed but haven't gotten a lot of great folks that are applying on Indeed or something like that. And just keep in mind that it costs these companies money to post these practices and organizations. It costs them money to list on these sites like Craigslist and Indeed and all these different job posting sites. So just keep that in mind. If you're in a smaller, more rural area, maybe these providers or practices are still posting in a newsletter or a newspaper or some sort of local job listing. So you'll want to just go the extra mile, create your list of practices and organizations that you would like to serve, and then start to reach out to them. Next is get out there. So after you're prepared, you got to get out there. So get out and get in front of people. There truly is power in proximity, meaning if you get close to someone and you have a relationship or have an opportunity to create a relationship, there is power in that relationship, in that opportunity. For maybe they may not be able to have it, maybe they may not have a position to be able to offer you. Maybe they have someone in their circles, their professional circles, that have a position available, or maybe you just get a chance to be connected to them professionally for a little while, and they know that you're looking for a position, and then all of a sudden someone comes across their desk or something comes across their desk that's exactly the position that would be a good fit for you, and you're at the forefront of their mind. So keep that in mind. Get out, get in front of people, get connected. So that network. Consider going to your local chambers and associations, LinkedIn associations and connections. So there's groups on LinkedIn, there's opportunities for you to connect with folks on LinkedIn. And I don't mean spam people, I mean be very meaningful in what your desire is. Let people know that you're here. Let people know that you exist locally in the chamber. You are a professional here that's certified or with X amount of experience or what have you, and you are wanting folks to know. So if you are let's say a practice administrator or an aspiring biller, and you get connected to your local MGMA or your local HBMA or AAPC groups. Stay connected and keep yourself present in the conversation. Even if you don't get a chance to let folks know all the time that you're looking for a job, if they see you and you get a chance to be there during the times that they're not having an organized conversation, there's always opportunity for open networking. So be ready to have those conversations, and that maybe they don't have a position to offer you, but their close associates might have a role that you would be perfect for. So when you're out there networking, you're going to want to have some things with you. Some of those things are obviously going to include your resume and maybe even some business cards. So you are marketing yourself. Keep that in mind. Yes, you absolutely want to take into consideration the person that you're handing these over to, but you never know. Right? You might give your card to somebody and it says, let's say, certified coder or certified biller, experience in XYZ. Maybe you decide to go all out and put a picture of yourself on there. So think about these really interesting, creative ways for you to market yourself and allow people to be willing to share your resume and your card. So again, not like spamming people. You don't want to get annoying, right? But if there's a chance for you to have a conversation and you think first about the conversation benefiting them, giving them some value, maybe having a conversation where they get to speak about what they do and who they are. And if you get to that moment to exchange cards, there's your chance. Be willing to have that resume handy. Maybe you get a flyer style. They have these small postcard size, or even the ones that are just a little bit larger, about a half a page. That those postcards you can get and have, just a little bit like an actress would have a little an actor's resume. Maybe on the front there's a picture and there's some information about you, and on the back there's some experience. Get creative. People get impressed for those when people go the extra mile. So get creative, and using resources like Vistaprint. That resource is super inexpensive. They constantly have specials. I will suggest you go on tools like Retail Me Not or other coupon websites so that you can get coupon codes, because I guarantee you can spend very little money and get a very professional looking card or even a flyer. So think about ways to get out and start to be creative about hand delivering. So as I mentioned, you make that target list. Now you have your cards, you have your resume. Get out there and hand deliver. Don't feel like you have to email everybody. You've got to, and I'm not saying, be saying you need to interrupt the manager, or you need to, but be willing to get out there and just ask, is the manager available or is the supervisor available? And if they, they're not available, you say, may I leave this for him or her? And, maybe even ask for a card so that you can follow up. I don't ask, you don't have to ask if they're hiring, you don't have to ask anything like that. Just be willing to leave that information and let it bounce around in their minds. Maybe there's an opportunity again for you to serve a need in their practice, or maybe they have a colleague that has a need. So again, get out there, get maybe the hiring manager's information, and then follow up, my friends. Follow up, circle back, check in, send an email. If you got their business, their name, their business card, their email address, or you just have the phone number for the place, you just give a call and say, "Hey, Susie, I left my resume the other day. I just wanted to check in to see if you guys had a need at this time, or if you know anyone who has a need in your specialty. I have a special interest in cardiology." All right. All right, so next is be organized. Be organized and ready for the career. So next is be organized and persistent. Get yourself ready for this career and know that your first position in this healthcare organization or in healthcare may not be your dream job, but you have to trust the process. You have to be willing to trust a growth process. All right, so how do we do that? Be committed. Set a schedule for yourself. Have a goal and be willing to apply consistency to that goal. So setting your schedule and working through applying to a certain number of positions each day. So whether that's you going out hand delivering to 5 positions a day, or maybe that's emailing, sending responses to ads. Maybe you do 3 online and 3 out in the real world. Give yourself a schedule that is realistic. Set a schedule for networking, set a schedule for all the time that you will be able to get out and be in the community, connecting with people, and be committed. Be hungry. Be open to gaining experience in any way possible. If you are new to healthcare, trust me, it will be a little challenging. People do like, we as employers like to look at folks that have a bit of experience most times. But if you show up 100% and you are open and hungry, and we see that persistence, we see that you are taking your outside knowledge in customer service or in other industries and applying that to not only your desire to have a role, but your interactions with other folks. When you start to, we see you using those skills and reapplying them into the situation, it stands out. I promise you, it stands out. Be willing to start on a lower pay scale. Listen, if you have no experience in healthcare and you're looking at things online and you see a range of, I don't know, 50 to 80,000 a year for a particular role, look closer to 50. Maybe even just a little below that. Don't go in there and say, "Oh, I expect to get paid 80,000." If you have no experience and no value really to add until you start to really learn the ropes, then you have to be willing to start at the lower end of that pay scale. All right? Be reliable. Building a career takes solid character, my friends. But healthcare circles are not small, so do not burn your bridges. If you struggle with showing up on time, you struggle with not calling out sick, or having too many requests for leaving early or coming late or things like that, then work on those skills first before you try to go into your dream job or future organization. Because I guarantee you, you start getting into these organizations and people remember. You might last for a little while and then decide, that's too tricky for you to get that job or to stay in that particular position. And then you decide to find a different role down the line or another location closer to home or somewhere else. You don't know whether that provider or that office manager might be best friends or know somebody or is a part of the same association or IPA or whatever. And now all of a sudden they're having a conversation about some potential new hires and your name comes up and someone says, "Oh, yeah, she's always late, or she was always calling out. It was a little bit of a struggle. I'm not sure if she's got the commitment or the reliability that we need to have in our organization. So know that healthcare circles are small. Do not burn your bridges. Be reliable. And truly, if you find it like a position is not a great fit, be upfront. Let folks know. If you just show up one day and just give your I quit notice, or you don't show up and you call in and give your I quit notice, I promise you leave a very bad taste in the hiring manager's mouth. And your name is going to be associated with that for however long, until that person recovers from that bad blood. All right. So in anything, attitude is the little thing that makes a difference. That quote is by Winston Churchill. Sometimes it takes time, okay, to find this position. Sometimes it takes effort. Even if it doesn't have, if you've had luck and that's not been your past experience, be willing to have a great attitude, be willing to devote the effort and energy and the patience and the persistence that it takes. Even if you're blessed and you get that job just from a couple of weeks of you sending out resumes and applying or what have you, just be willing to have an attitude of, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to be prepared to add the value to healthcare that this healthcare organization deserves. And I know that I have something to add, some value to add. You have that kind of attitude, and I promise you great things will come. All right, so that concludes our video. Thanks so much for watching. And again, I recommend you go over to CodeMasterCoach's channel. She has prepared also a great presentation on this same topic. So start to build your arsenal of tools and tricks and ways for you to find that job in 2020. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, welcome, my friends. Please do not forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on videos that'll help you strengthen the business side of your healthcare organization, or for you to help to gain knowledge that will help you add value to that healthcare organization. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. We'll see you next time.